Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? My name is Tony Jenkins, and I'm the market president for Florida Blue. And I've been with the company now for 24 years. Wow, and that's after doing a stint with Walt Disney World for 20 years. Y'all can do the math. I want to welcome you all today to a very, very important event and an opportunity for us to share and to spend time with all of you. Many of you know that Florida Blue, which is the same as Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, we've been doing business in this state for over 80 years. And most of you know us as a health insurance company, but we've expanded. Many of you know that we've added another name to our organization called GuideWell. Hopefully you've seen our GuideWell Emergency Center, centers around town. We've got the GuideWell Innovation Center. We have our Florida Blue retail centers. And I say all of that because our focus is not just on making sure that we can all finance our healthcare from an insurance standpoint, but we're on a journey to help people and communities achieve better health. And that's our driver to make sure that we're focusing on this event today. Hopefully, many of you know that this month, June, is ending up Men's Health Month. And so this is a part of our inaugural, I love this title, Fully Alive Men's Health Summit. And in collaboration with Platinum Men's Health and Raise Your Glass Promotions. Thank you, Ms. Gigi. I just want to delve into briefly how important men's health is. I want to ask a question. How many of us in this room here have loved ones, relatives, family members that we rely on and that we live with and that we do with? How many? Every hand should raise up. Therefore, we have to know, men, that our lives are not just about ourselves. Our lives are dedicated to our loved ones. We can't deliver on building those relationships if we're not healthy. Our health is the most important aspect of our lives. And too many times as men, we get busy, we fall into stereotypes where I can handle things, and we forego regular checkups, preventive items. How do I know that? Because I fell into that trap myself. For 3 years, I was taking care of my mom, busy at work. I did not, and I worked for a healthcare company, and I was not doing the right things related to my follow-up and prevention. Many of you may not know, I mentioned to Derek earlier, that in 2019, I had a massive stroke. And how do I know it was massive? Because I asked my physician, I said, was this a mini stroke? He goes, Mr. Jenkins, the blood clot near your brain was totally blocking your oxygen supply. I had minutes to live. Thank God I was with somebody because I couldn't move and couldn't talk. And it caused me to understand how valuable life is. And with the strength of God and with the strength of my ability to resolve myself, I'm back. But I'll tell you, my team knows. They were in the hospital with me that day. It was a journey. It was a 2.5-year journey. So I say all that because I'm a perfect example of, first of all, what we shouldn't do, but what we should do. And now I'm on a path of educating myself, educating my family, taking care of the precautions. I'm in regular doctor visits, because how many of you know that early detection can save lives? Men, early detection, preventive screening, that's why it's so important. And I see some young guys in here, you have to start early. Start early. Our health is so important to us, and we don't realize it until we lose it. So that's why this important session today is so critical, and that's why we at Florida Blue are so proud to be a part of this effort today. Hopefully you can take part in the virtual education sessions. Please stop in across the hall. We have a Florida Blue Center where we give education, information, healthcare screenings, healthcare coachings. We have one right here in this building here. We have one in the Winter Park Village as well. I can't stress that enough for us to make sure that we're getting the right coaching and the right information. Now I'd like to introduce a person literally who needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her. Listen, I know that we've made it as an event, and it's legit when we can get Monica May to be the moderator, right? So it's my privilege and honor to have Ms. Monica May as our moderator, who is absolutely an award-winning host and community champion, whose passion for this community always amazes me. Monica.
TJ. Thank you.
All right.
And you know, it's funny. Good morning, everyone. We're about 14 minutes after noon, so good afternoon, family. Tony, if you don't know people's history or have the opportunity to stay in touch with them, you don't know the backstory. I knew that I hadn't seen you, and I knew when you came back there was a difference, but the difference I saw was clarity. The difference I saw was presence. The difference I saw was not, I'm awfully close, was not, and y'all know I'm clumsy, so, the difference I saw was taking better care of your time and not saying yes to everything and not having to be everywhere for everyone. Now, if I could use that as an admonition for everyone in this room that runs these multi-million-dollar organizations, I'm going to say something. Speaking to myself, sometimes you have to walk away in order to take care of yourself. You don't want to die on their plantation, because let me tell you something. There's going to be the next person to fill your shoes, and they won't be able to live up to your expectations. So I'm grateful that you took care of self. Stepping away was the best thing for you. And today we're going to hear of another brother who stepped away from that mega job. And I'm telling you, it saved his life. So that's why we're here today. And Tony, thank you so much. I love you, my brother from another mother. So we're here today because, yes, Tony did say June is Men's Health Month. And every June for 20 years, we always did a Black Men's Health Summit. And I missed those days. And in April, we did Tom Joyner's Take a Loved One to the Doctor Day. And someone asked me today, well, what would it take? And they've asked me in the past. Well, I know that we brought in at least 70 grand in terms of resources. So it would take more. You got to look at the facility. You got to look at all of that stuff. But forget about the money. There's enough of that in here to do it again, because we're going to be okay. You're going to be okay if you're in this room. And I'll tell you why, because you didn't find it robbery to be here. So you are at least at that level. But it's the ones who aren't here that we have to bring into the rooms, because each one of you, and I can look and I can tell you what your titles are. If you haven't been to a doctor yet, you are a walking time bomb. You're a ticking time bomb. And I'm telling you, that baby might not be here if his dad hadn't just slowed it down for just a moment. So that's what we're going to talk about. That's what being fully alive is all about. So again, amen and welcome, brothers. How you doing? You said it's good to have me in the house. Well, it's good to have my husband in the house too. So George, thank you for stopping through and being with me today. We're here today because one Black man wanted to make a difference. We are here today because he had the knowledge and he wanted to make a difference. We are here today because Dr. Ademola Adewale used his years of experience as president of the medical staff at Advent Health, and with his years on this earth, more than 30 in this country. So he's got other life experiences to pull from. He decided to take his degree and prestige, plus his lived experience, to do something about the health system here in the United States and to really make a difference. Make a difference is what Dr. A is all about. He instituted Platinum Men's Health, which is a concierge medical service that does make house calls. Remember grandmama and them? The doctor used to come to them. Well, he can't take on all these patients right now, but we'll talk about that too. But Platinum Men's Health is what this is all about. And for you business moguls who couldn't get him to come to the house, he came to your businesses and he has saved lives. He's going to talk about that in just a moment. He does this not because of just the money. He does this because he realizes that men, our brothers, our sons, our grandsons, are a little bit leery of coming inside to see a doctor. Yeah, we do talk about that Tuskegee experiment, but that ended in 1972. But it's real. If you are a young jit, you've heard talk about it. Let me tell you very quickly, it was an experiment done on 400 Alabamians there at Tuskegee. The thing is that these men did have syphilis, but they let it go on and on and on without giving them anything to cure it. Now, the interesting thing about that is that the cure for syphilis is penicillin, and that was available since 1942 at least, and you medical doctors will know the real numbers. So why did this experiment go on until 1972? That's the key problem that I have. There was already a cure for that, but they used us. And because of that, we are left with a permanent scar that puts into us a fear of all things with a white coat on. Okay, you heard about that fear. It's real. When you do go to a doctor and you see that white coat, trust me, your pressure goes up at least a good 10 points. Doesn't have anything to do with that. It is just an innate fear. We've got to get over that because we need you all. We do understand that this is very real. So when we talk about the difference in medicine today, we talk about the biases that come along with it. But these biases can be overridden if we educate ourselves as well, because we can go in there and advocate for ourselves. So it doesn't matter if you ask me this, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. I'm going to be honest. So from this day forward, if you don't do anything else, I want you to think about three things. Developing a relationship with your home doctor, your house doctor, your doctor, your man. And it doesn't have to look like you. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to ask you to be involved in your own health care. You don't know? Google it. At least have a starting point for your questions. And then the third thing is open your mouth when something doesn't feel right, when something shows up out of place. There are people who love you, men. They're called your wives, your girlfriends, your daughters even. Don't be shy, because ladies, I'm so glad to see my sisters in this room. And for y'all, I'm clapping it up because you have an interest in our men. And so men, and I see men that I have not seen in so long, and this is good. But then I saw the mayor of Orlando walk through here, and that's Reginald McGill, and I tell you something. Then I knew it was time for us to start. He said, don't do that to me. But you can't get to Buddy if you don't get to him, I tell you. So today is a culmination. Dr. Dews? Hey, love. Oh my gosh, Dr. Piola Dews. Yay, clap it up. She is the matriarch of all of us in here. All of us. And Gigi, I want to say to you, thank you for taking on something that was, I want to say, outside of your realm, because this was, 5 weeks. June has 5 weeks, y'all. This sister put on 5 weeks worth of events. So they did a workout session. They did a healthy nutrition session. They did a fireside chat. They did so many things throughout the month of June. And they did radio. They did podcasting. They did everything they could to get the word out about men's health. And so this is the culmination of that. So ladies and gentlemen, if I can, I want to introduce you to the thought leader for this event, and that is Dr. Adamole Adewale. So we're gonna sit right here, both of us, right? So I'm gonna take this mic.
Yes.
We're not gonna move this.
This one. This one.
Oh,
No,
oh, okay. So I didn't have to struggle. Put this one back. Oh, he got us hooked up. Look at this. Thank you. It's good to see you all in all your blue, because blue is for men's health. So it's good to see you all in that blue, different shades of blue. Dr. A, I'm going to start with something that I asked you at the end of our last conversation. What is your why?
Okay. My why. So I've been an emergency medicine physician for over 20 years. And being on the front line, we get to see a lot of patients. And I get to see a lot of Black men in the ER. And men, basically, that they are forced to be there. They were forced to be there. They did not want to be there because of their own volition. Either their spouse, their partner, or somebody that has interest in them forced them to get there. And when they get there, try to get information from them. It's like doing a rectal examination, because men don't like to talk. To the extent that when you ask the question, is the partner, the spouse that's answering the question for them. And what happens is this. I realized that majority of these men, the conditions that brought them there, if it had been identified earlier, they'll live longer.
Turn this one off. If we turn this one off, it might be a little less. No? Go ahead.
So they live longer. And I realized that this has to stop. I had an epiphany when I saw a brother who was just 43 years old that has been struggling with problem with urination for almost 8 months. And he kept hiding it. And on one day, his partner was like, "You were up all night just going to the restroom. What's going on? We got to go to the hospital and get you checked." He was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer. That hit me. As a 46-year-old young man that has a full life ahead of him. Let me give you the data. If you're diagnosed with an early stage prostate cancer, your chance of survival in 5 years is more than 95%. However, a later stage prostate cancer, your chance of survival in 5 years is less than 10%. So that means this brother is likely to die within 5 years. And that hit me hard. And that's where my why started, because this has to stop. How do we get in front of our brothers or men out there that prevention, early detection, preventive care is very, very important? To teach a man how to identify your body, understand your body. And if things are not going like the way you expect them to go, it's a pattern that's different from what you know. To seek help and don't wait before it's too late. And that's how my wife started to educate men to be able to stay alive, live longer, to be dads, fathers to their daughters, to their sons, to be spouse husbands to our wives. We don't want to have our wives being widows, and to be contributing members to our community. That is my why.
Thank you. We asked this question, we talked about it, but why is it that men just won't go see a doctor, especially our men and our sons, grandsons too?
Based on what you said earlier, is the fear of the unknown. And men feel that we have this macho, we can handle anything. And if we go to a doctor and things are found out, we feel emasculated. And that's one thing most men struggle with. Now I'm out of control. We clamor control. We do not like to lose control. And the idea of us losing control doesn't resonate with us. That's why a lot of men do not want to go. I don't want to know. Because if I know, there's something else I have to worry about. If I know, that means somebody else will be in control of my life. And I'm losing control. It's just that fear of the unknown. And what next if I know?
Mm-hmm. When we talk about the state of Black men's health, where are we?
When I look at the data out there, it concerns me. When I say concerns me, I talk in the context of life expectancy. For a Black man that was born in the 1950s, your life expectancy is like 66 years of age. 66. When do you start collecting Social Security?
60s.
So you work all your life and you don't get to collect. If you were born in the 1960s, you probably make it to 67. 1970, 68. 1980s, 69. And goes on like that because we have advances in technology based on the year that you were born. However, as a man, Black men in particular, if you make it past 65, if you were born in the 1950s, you have at least extra 14, 15 years to live. That means you get to make to 80 years old, but it's making it to 65. How do we change the narratives to make sure that we make it to that 65 so we can get to 80 years of age? That concerns me. So we have to change that paradigm, and that is the state we are right now. And the only way to move in that direction to get us to be 65 and get to be 80 is the preventive care that is necessary. Seeing the doctors, knowing our body, and doing the things that are necessary because we're just dying too young.
Can we get a nod? Can we get an amen? Y'all, y'all quiet. And I know that we have other doctors in the room. Would you nod? Would you give me some kind of feedback as to, are you feeling these statistics? Brothers, how you feeling about hearing that? It was a shock to me when I heard that because I'm a 50s baby. My husband's a 50s baby. That means that our time is almost up. But I will tell you that seeing a doctor for preventive care extends that life.
Correct.
It does.
Definitely.
So now, one of the things that we've talked about is that when we go see the doctor, they don't look like us. Yeah. So we're not going to be as open. We're not going to tell them all the medicines we're taking or not taking. We're not going to tell them about the habits that we have had or have still. We're just not going to be that open.
Yeah.
So talk about the percentages of Black doctors.
So what happened is like a lot of data out there show that if you see someone that looks like you, you're most likely to comply with the directives because you can trust them. However, in the entire United States, of all the doctors in the US, there are about 5.4% that are African American. Of those 5.4%, there are 2.8% male and 2.6% female. So of all the doctors in the US, there's only 2.8% of them are Black physician, Black male. So if you want to see someone that looks like you, good luck finding one, because there ain't enough of us to go around. So that's what I try to tell people, because people call me all the time. I'm trying to look for a doctor that looks like me. And I look around town, I say, the few I know are too busy. They can't see you for a year. But I work with a lot of phenomenal doctors that don't look like me, that I can trust with my life, because I know they are good. So the stigma that we have of the mentality that, oh, they don't look like me, I can't trust them, let's get over that. Because we have a lot of more people that can care for us. But if we limit ourselves to that, just 2.8%, it ain't gonna happen. And what happens is you're trying to make an appointment, you call, you can't get through. They can't see you for 6 months, 8 months, guess what? You give up. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem. So let's open our mind, educate ourselves, and it's okay to see someone that do not look like you. If you have doubts, ask questions. We have a village you can talk to.
I want to ask, does anybody have a quick question that you might want to shout out to the doctor really quick? Because I have about 5 minutes left with Dr. A, and then we're going to move on to Andre the farmer. Yes, sir. How many Black nurses are there?
Well, most of the data I look at are the physicians, because those are the main one that you will see before it gets to the nurses.
But them nurses are very important.
Nurses are instrumental part of healthcare, but the decision maker that will actually take care of your life and make decision as to what happens, that has to be executed by the nurses, by the doctors. So I'm sure there are data out there about Black nurses,
We'll look that up, and I'll have an answer for you before it is. Yeah, you said somebody over here. Dr. Dews.
How can we get our men to not be ashamed of seeing a doctor when they have conditions that hurt them?
That's why we're here. This is the overall overreaching question. Mm-hmm.
You have to ask yourself the question, do I want to stay alive? Do I want my wife to be a widow, young widow? Do I want to be a father to my daughters, to my sons? Do I want to contribute to my community? Ask yourself that question. If something does not feel right in your body, you're feeling something out of place, get rid of that stigma, that fear, and seek help. Think about the reason why you have to be alive. Let that be what guides you.
Why you have to be fully alive. Because there's a difference. There is a difference. On that note, you're going to sum it up at the end about why it's important for us to be fully alive, but give us a 30-second synopsis of why, the purpose of.
The reason why you have to be fully alive is this. I did a research during COVID, and I published a book called Fully Alive, Experiencing the 5 Pillars of Wholeness. And during my research, I understand that to be fully alive, I have to be aligned in several segments of wholeness. The first aspect is physical wholeness. Second one is social wholeness, mental wholeness, emotional wholeness, spiritual wholeness, and of course, is the spiritual wholeness that anchors everything together. So for you to be fully alive, you have to be whole in those 5 dimensions of wholeness. And you can tease all those dimensions down further, like financial wholeness, which is part of emotional wholeness, because finance is tied to emotion. So those are my 5 pillars of wholeness, and those are the things that keep me fully alive. And the goal is to be balanced in those dimensions, then you can actually feel whole. So if you see the image there, that's me being fully alive.
To be able to reach out, this is good. We got one. We have a whole day ahead of us, so hold on to those questions because he's not going anywhere. We're going to switch panelists right now, and we're going to welcome Dr. Andre Baptiste. Y'all give it up, though, for Dr. Adewale. You're giving me time.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am great.
You look-
I got a bit of a cold, so that's why I'm not touching anyone today. 'Cause I got a bit of a cold.
Please stay. No, I'm only joking. This is no. I'm really cool. You look just like the billboard.
I'm actually not on very many billboards. Like, I think this is one of those things that's like, like everyone thinks that Sinbad was like the genie in that movie and it didn't really happen and everyone believes it. I'm almost never on a billboard, but people think I'm on billboards all the time.
Don't believe that, man.
You see,
I seen it. You came up here before I could really do a quick bio. So I'm going to do it while you're sitting here. You
Okay.
nod along with me, okay? Just, and you'll pretend he's not sitting here and that he just walked up, okay? We know him as a local orthodontist. He's practiced here in Orlando for 20 years. He now has 4 locations in the Central Florida area. Dr. Andre Baptiste completed his residency in general dentistry and also received his certification in orthodontics from HU. Howard University. He has published research in the Journal of All Oncology, right? Oral oncology. Okay, oral oncology. Now, that's the T on his background. I'm going to share some new stuff. Dr. Baptiste is also known on social media. He has over 1 million followers. How many million?
It's a million and change.
Okay. But he's known as Andre the Farmer. Andre the Farmer, a brand that has amassed, like we said, over 1 million farmers. He is a home food forester and gardener and uses his social media platforms to help his followers create their own permaculture life. And he has also created Fireside TV.
Fire Talk.
Fire Talk. I like Fireside.
Maybe we'll change it.
But Andre the Farmer has further expanded his media brand by co-founding and hosting a talk show on Fire Talk TV that can be watched on YouTube at Fire Talk TV 1. The men of Fire Talk TV are finally talking about more than sports and women. They're talking about life. So let's talk about that, and y'all give it up for Andre the Farmer. If you go out to his vending table, you'll see some of the episodes, but still follow up on that. You've not made a switch because you're still in the office, but what prompted you to do the Fire Talk TV?
Well, it all started with a book club. I feel like I tend to collect people. So when I find people that are interesting people or people that I like, then they become my friends, regardless of where they're coming from. And yeah. But so eventually we had a book club. I had a very interesting book. I read it and I said, let's have a discussion about this book club. So it's kind of, I've realized later, a pretty rare thing to have a bunch of Black men in a book club. So we would do this, and we did this for about 10 years or so.
Get out.
Yeah, we did it for a long time. And
Wow.
sometimes people would read the book, sometimes they wouldn't read the book, but we'd always have a lively discussion. And then one of my buddies was there, and he's a film producer, and he was like, you guys should be recording this. This is something that people would like to see. And we thought about that for about another 5 years. We didn't do anything. And then eventually we did film it. And we filmed it with some backyard cameras and stuff for a while. And we filmed about 4 or 5 episodes. And then we said, let's take this up a notch. And we got a real film crew in. So, we got a couple $100,000 worth of equipment with a film crew back there filming it like professionals. And we started filming some episodes that are sort of timeless. Because some of our episodes we felt were kind of dated, the original ones, but these ones were, like our first episode was on mental health, which is something that in the Black community is not really something that especially Black men don't really talk about. So then we did the role of a man. We did raising kids. And this last episode was on men's health. So that's where it sort of came from. And it's just sort of blossomed into something greater, I think.
So are these men who are invited to Fire Talk, How do they get an invitation?
Well, you just have to be one of my friends, basically.
But you got 1 million followers.
No, like literally, like we have some people right here. These are members of Fire Talk. Guys, put your hands up.
Okay.
Those guys are
right.
all members of Fire Talk right there. Lee's one of our producers right there.
And y'all look normal, like, not like actors or anything like that. No, you're handsome, but I'm just saying, they look regular. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's regular guys from different walks of life, and that's what makes the show special. It's not a bunch of celebrities sitting around talking about things they don't really understand. It's guys who are living the lives of real people.
So when you were a part of Dr. A's conversation, what were y'all talking about?
We were talking about men's health generally, and a lot of the things you guys discussed is what we discussed on the show. So a lot of the numbers, Dr. A brought up those numbers for us. And I'll tell you, just being on the show, it changed me. Like it changed.
In what way?
Like how I think about going to the doctor. I was like, wait a minute. I had a colonoscopy, 6 years ago. They told me every 10 years. Now I'm thinking I should do this every 5 years. I shouldn't be letting them dictate my health. I should take extra precautions. I need to have more blood work done. I need to go more often. Just the things and I think one of the things that why men don't go to is because we're arrogant and we think.
He said that. I did not.
No, we think we can sort of like get through it, right? Like something's a little different. You're like, I'll work it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Instead of going to the doctor like, most women do, whenever something is a little bit off, we figure we'll get over it or it'll pass or we'll work our way through it somehow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you can't. A lot of times we sit on it literally and it hurts. It hurts. Do you pull women into the conversation?
No, but we have probably more women subscribers than we have male subscribers, because it's kind of a behind the scenes look at what guys talk about when the women aren't there. We've considered possibly our next episode is going to be on marriage. So we're thinking about maybe having a couple guest ladies there. But at the same time, the dynamic is men speaking freely, so you're seeing what they say when you're not there.
I like this. Now tell us again. It's Fire Talk TV 1.
Fire Talk TV 1 on YouTube.
Okay.
So like, subscribe, follow the channel. Appreciate it.
Listen, it's amazing that you can get brothers in the same room. And again, that they're not talking sports or women, but it's also the sincerity, the intentionality of that conversation. And so can subscribers give you suggestions on topics maybe?
Yeah, they can. We would love that. The more input we get, the better. So, flood those comment sections. Let us know what you think. If you have advice for the show, we will take that. Mm-hmm. I read all the comments that come on there. So we will take that advice.
So now the name Andre the Farmer, let's talk about why you started this whole, this forest in your backyard. What did your wife say about that?
My wife is right there.
I know.
But I'll tell you how it started because it's kind of a funny story. We were going out to dinner with another couple, and she had a garden, and she had an Instagram, and someone sent her free boots because she had a garden.
Wait a minute, Doc. You didn't do this to get free merch.
Yes, yeah, it's for the boots, right?
Oh,
so she had like about 3,000 followers on Instagram, and and she got free boots. I'm thinking, I got a really big garden. I should get free boots too, right? So on the way home in the car, I'm thinking, I'm going to start this Instagram. I got to come up with a name. I come up with a name, and I had all these stupid names I came up with. And then finally, we settled on Andre the Farmer. And then I had a patient who told me, if you want to be big on Instagram, you have to go onto TikTok. And I'm thinking, TikTok? That's like stupid. That's like for kids.
I'm sorry. I just have to interrupt you. This is Dr. Andre Baptiste. You've never heard him speak this freely. This is amazing.
People hear me speak freely all the time.
No. You just don't get that from him.
Listen,
I'm loving this.
I'm not like other doctors. I'm barely even a doctor. So,
well, your teeth are pretty straight.
No, like if I'm on the plane and they ask, like, is there a doctor? I'm not standing up. You got a loose bracket? I'll help you with that. But, yeah, we're not doing that.
Sorry, y'all. I bring humor. Do you know laughter is such a good salve? I'm telling you, you've got to find some humor in everything you do. So now back to this conversation. You started this farm because you wanted to be TikTok famous.
No, I wanted the boots. Right?
Are they boots for you? They were boots for him.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now I'm turning down boots all the time.
Get out.
So it's
I
worked
wear
out pretty
size
good. I
8.
even got boots for my son's stuff too. But so I get a lot of people offering me stuff now. You know, when you have 1 million followers, you get a lot of people wanting you to endorse things or whatever. So we started a company called Permaculture Life. And I also have a team with that as well. And that's a sustainably sourced apparel company. It's permaculturelife.com. And it's all about sustainability. So we have shirts and hats and things that are made from bamboo and hemp and recycled materials. And $1 from every purchase goes towards building community gardens. So there's 2 community gardens. We built one in Oak Hill Elementary. And we are working on another one at Washington Shores.
Okay.
So that's kind of where a lot of the proceeds go to. That we generate.
So to come back to a more serious nature, why do you think sustainability and having these gardens is so important, especially in most of our neighborhoods, which are food deserts virtually?
Well, one, I think it's going to make people eat better. Like it's made me eat better since I started growing things. You know, like there were a lot of things I didn't know I liked. Like I didn't know I liked okra.
Okay.
You know, okra looked gross to me, but I had it and I was like, now I love it. Okra's like my favorite vegetable now.
Okay.
So I've improved the way I eat. Because when you grow things, you are inspired to eat those things, right? And you're taking away a lot of the things that you would normally be eating and replacing them with things that are generally better for you. You know, and just having people have exposure to how to grow food and what, you know, natural foods look like. I think that goes a long way to having people just develop better eating habits.
So Dr. A, you can answer this, or Dr. Baptiste. So eating better, more vegetables, more of a plant-based diet, would you say that is better? I mean, I'm not saying to take out meat, but I'm trying to get us to eat healthier. What did we determine with Ebony Nutrition?
Well, I think I heard my wife say she thinks that he needs to answer this. But let me try to answer this first.
You do it.
Because I am also a fisherman and a bow hunter, and I do harvest my own meat. So I am definitely all about the meat. And I believe, like everything, it's all about moderation. I don't think that we have to be vegans or vegetarians. I think it's all about moderation. Now, if you're just doing a carnivore diet, you're probably gonna have problems. But I definitely believe moderation is the key, and I don't think there's anything that you should never eat. But anyways, Doc, do you want to comment on that? Okay, Doc.
He said he agrees. So in other words, the cleaner the meat, the better it is for you. We live in food deserts. Where do we get clean meat? Where do we get these vegetables from?
You can get it from the supermarket. Like literally, you can get it from the supermarket. Like there's a whole industry around making people scared of everything around them. You shouldn't be scared of your food. You can go to the supermarket and you can live a completely healthy life making good choices in the supermarket. You know, you can get lean meat, you can get chicken, you can get beef, you can get all those things, and you can live a perfectly healthy life. I am totally against the whole scare everybody away from every kind of food there is. It's like an industry, and people make a lot of money off this. And I'm definitely not for that.
Okay. All right. So some of the vegetables that we're talking about that could create a more sustainable or just a lasting, just a better lifestyle for us, what would you say?
You know, things like sweet potatoes are very easy to grow. You know, most of your kales, your broccolis, a lot of those things you can grow here in the winter. In the summer, it's mostly going to be things like okra, eggplants, peppers, sweet potatoes. Our summers are really a difficult time to grow food in Florida. You can really grow a lot more in the spring, fall, and winter.
Can I ask, and this is just me asking a question, corn. Corn is not I can't digest corn, but it is used to build a lot of things and to grow a lot of things. It's fed to our animals too, but I can't seem to digest it. Do you grow corn?
I don't grow corn. Corn, you have to grow a certain volume of corn to make it viable. So
You learned all of this, huh?
yeah, I've dabbled in corn a little bit, but it's not something I grow on a regular basis. No.
Are there any questions for Andre the farmer? Now, if we don't have the space, we don't have a garden, what can we do on our windowsill?
We can do a lot on our windowsill. We can grow in containers. Most of the plants, even the trees that I grow, can grow in containers.
You grow trees too.
Oh yeah, I have over 100 fruit trees. That's my main thing is really the trees. I have over 20 varieties of mangoes, a dozen varieties of bananas, got avocados, lychee, papayas, dragon fruits, pretty much you name it, it's back there.
Where you live? No, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, if I had to ask you one thing, I'm going to ask you your why. When you have your patients, do you ever share anything of your knowledge with them?
Yes, I have an actual grow tent in my office.
Oh my goodness.
So a lot of times I'll give patients trees or plants, especially the kids. I have like a bunch of orange tree seedlings that pop up in my garden. I'll put them in pots. And when a kid comes in and they're interested in gardening, here, I'll give you a tree, So I've had kids come back a couple years later and they tell me how tall their tree's getting and stuff. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm an open book. I'm, like I said, I'm barely a doctor, so I'm not like most doctors, right?
You keep saying that.
So I talk to my patients. Like we have conversations, even some of the fire talk guys are past patients. That's how, that's how.
Let me see your smile.
past and current. He's a repeat patient.
He's current. He's current. I got it.
That's how I met Gigi. I met Gigi as a past patient.
Because you didn't wear your retainer.
It was 20 something years ago. I met Gigi in the office. She was one of my first patients ever when I came to Orlando.
Wow. Wow. So, see, what I'm getting, if you all have some questions, I do want you to do that for Andre the farmer or Dr. Baptiste. Hi. Yes.
If you live a very busy life, you work full time, you're out and about all the time, what vegetables do you recommend planting that we can maintain and garner some great food?
Well, I always say there's lots of hours in a day, right? Because I work full time. I got 2 kids. I play basketball. I go hunting. I go fishing. I do whatever. And I have a huge garden. So there's enough hours in a day to grow any plants you want, right? Things like tomatoes, especially if you're growing them in the fall or the spring, they're pretty self-sufficient. Peppers, okra grows super well in the summer here. Most veggies you can grow pretty easily. Things like the root crops, like regular potatoes, you stick them in the ground, you don't do anything to them, and you just wait till the plant dies, then you harvest it. Things like ginger, you can throw ginger in the ground and have ginger plants grow up.
Do you feel that since you started gardening that your health is better?
I feel my diet's better. I'm, almost 10 years older, so I don't know if my health is better, but my diet is definitely better.
Your diet.
And I'm more conscious of, what I eat, and I'm a little more conscious of my weight and things like that. So I am probably healthier than when I started, definitely.
Last question. You've got these sustainable gardens in Oak Hill and you're getting ready to put one in, you said Washington Shores?
Washington Shores.
Okay, so what would it take to put a sustainable garden in, say, 5 more elementary or middle schools? What would it take? How much money?
It doesn't take much money. I'm pretty sure we've built all those gardens. Well, the Washington Shores garden was already existing. I'm just taking it over.
Okay.
Right, and running the garden club for the kids at the school. But the one that we did in Oak Hill Elementary, that was from scratch. And I would say $1,000.
Okay. I'm going to say something. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What vegetables can you eat to increase your dental health?
None. You're not going to increase your dental health by eating vegetables. The key is cleaning your teeth and seeing your dentist every 6 months. Those are good. Those are the things that are going to improve your dental health. You're not going to eat your way out of it.
Yes.
when you said 1,000, that's for 5 more or for one?
No, one.
One.
Yeah. About $1,000 to build a reasonable garden.
And then to help sustain it, yes. Go ahead, sir.
First off, it was bugging me the whole time we were talking earlier. I'm like, I know this dude from somewhere. And then I realized, as soon as you said Andre the Farmer, it clicked, because I'm on your IG page.
Okay.
But the question that I had was, and some other people may be thinking about this, a lot of people are getting into the mindset of, I want to start growing some stuff at home and what have you. Your thoughts on raised garden beds versus growing in the soil around your house?
Okay.
You don't know what's in there, and you don't want that improved, but I don't want to change your thoughts.
I'll tell you what, I'm not worried about what's in there at all. But the thing is, the soil in Florida is very poor. It's very nutrient poor. It's very sandy. So if you're going to grow in the ground, you have to amend that soil anyways. So it's easier to grow in beds. You can control the soil a little bit better. It's going to be a little more expensive. But for vegetables, I do raised beds. All my trees are going in the ground.
Good? Y'all good? Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way you could take up some money to plant these gardens all over the place in Florida right now?
I was getting to that.
I'm only one person. I don't know
Are
if
there
I can
any
plant
other
gardens
farmers in here? Any other aspiring farmers? Crickets? Or one,
Go put it
two?
there. All
Okay.
right, all right.
3? Okay.
All right.
Why don't we have those 3 come and just speak with you after and just see what it would take? Because the important thing is that I was able to get Dr. A to think about lowering our number to 18, okay? Because initially we said 25 and up. But I'm like, Dr. A, there's a lot going on in these teens' lives. We have a lot of homelessness in our teens as well. So we know that they're not eating right. And even if they're living at home, mama's pantry is pretty bare. Her refrigerator holds even less. Many of us grew up hungry. So how are we going to manage all of this? So this is something that we need to take care of ourselves and put it in our community. And even if it's not in a school, it can be in a church's backyard, or it can be in Miss Mamie's backyard, and she'll let us come in there. So
Yeah, there's a lot of empty fields and space. Even in neighborhoods that are underprivileged, there's empty lots and empty space where I don't know if we can speak to local governments and allow those spaces to be used to grow food. I don't know.
So, Reggie, would that be the property tax person? I think so. I think it would be a property tax person. You taking notes? Okay. So Reggie will get back to me because he'll get that question to Buddy, and then we'll figure this thing out. But I'm thinking that's going to be a property tax kind of question, because if it's vacant, it belonged to somebody, if not the city or the county. I mean, I'm just a DJ, so I'm just thinking this as I'm talking. Possibility, right? Just nod your head and make me feel good. Listen, y'all give it up for Andre the Farmer, Dr. Baptiste. And you're not leaving, right? Thank you.
No, I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay, so you can ask him your questions as well. So you can, leave that mic right here in that chair. Thank you, Dr. Baptiste. Our next gentleman, y'all good? Am I doing all right, y'all? 'Cause the one thing about not working for a radio station is you can do what you want when you want. And I said I got an award the other night, and it was hard for me to even go to accept it because you're competing to me. But I said one thing is for sure. At some point in life, you have to start betting on yourself. Your talent is what got you in the door. You sustained it. Now try it for yourself. So I've been self-employed. I mean, really, really self-employed for the last 5 years. And I haven't missed a beat. And I feel a lot better. I feel a heck of a lot better. I've lost some weight. I've learned a lot more about myself. I've learned to listen. And listening is not something you can do if you've got so many other things from that job in your head. So now it's just me and my boo, and we taking on the world, and we doing all right. So clap it up for betting on yourself. Now, you talk about me not needing an introduction. If you ever were at an event and you saw a Pepsi sign, if you were ever at a job fair and you saw a Pepsi sign, if you were ever at the store and it was in our neighborhood and you saw Pepsi there, more than likely it was because of one person wanting to be intentional about putting Pepsi Cola products and making Pepsi available to us locally. And that brother did this for more than 30 years. He is known as a strategic thought leader, extensive experience leading large-scale operations, driving sustainable growth, spearheading transformation, developing people, and inspiring change within communities. He was passionate, he is passionate, and he spoke it, walked it, talked it too. He's passionate about creating cultures that ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion, something that our governor says stomp on, as well as respect. He strove to make a difference by using what he calls his 3 R's. They are results, deliver solid and consistent performance the right way. I'm going to add the first time. Relationships, nurture personal, professional, and spiritual relationships, and always be a great teammate yourself. Reputation, be mindful of your actions. Like my mom said, somebody's always watching you. So when you turn around to kiss that boy, somebody's seeing you. And live purposefully to create a positive legacy. He had to travel a lot to make all that happen. And he did, like I said, for more than 30 years for PepsiCo, until it impacted his health. He took a breather, and that's when he received the news that would change his life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please welcome Derek Lewis, who is doing it his own way now, because he is retired from PepsiCo. And I want to know, okay, thank you. Y'all clap it up some more. Because, really good. Because if he had waited a moment longer, we wouldn't be having this conversation face to face. You talk.
Well, first, I got a button here. There you go.
Okay.
Got a button here. There you go. I love that. I love hearing myself talk. But thank you, Monica, for the very kind introduction. Thank you all for being here. First of all, it means a lot. This is a very important time. And what's great, I'm grateful to be here in many ways. You'll hear some of that, obviously, during our conversation. But it's grateful to be around people that when I first came to town 16, 17 years ago, I'm still working with. And it's you, it's Gigi, it's Tony. We live in a fantastic community. I've lived all over the country. I've lived in 8 or 9 different locations through my journey with Pepsi over 35 years, and I always say this is the finest community of them all. What kept me here, what allowed me to say I wasn't going to move, and I still kept getting bigger opportunities because of, one, it's a great city, but the leadership, the culture, the character, and the people that I got to work with. And we don't always talk. We're not always getting together all the time, but we're keeping track of what we're doing. We're following each other. We're supporting each other. We're loving each other. And our purpose is to make this community still stand out as one of the best in the country. And I think we're there, and we just got to keep going.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for you all and the sponsors and Florida Blue and everybody else that's here today, the doctors and dignitaries that are here. So this is what this is all about, right? The storytelling, but also the togetherness, the unity, the support for each other, and the fact that we all have each other's backs in more ways than one. So
this is something, those 3 R's catapulted you around this country. But one thing that came out in our conversation is that after all of those years, he never had a primary health care provider. Insurance, that wasn't even an issue. He just didn't take the time. He would go for that once a year, because they send you executive style. But yeah, there were some things that you noticed.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, for as much as I achieved in my life, personal life, professional life, corporate life, I was very undisciplined and arguably sloppy with my approach to my health.
Yeah.
Now, that's because I really didn't have anything happening or going on. I operated much more off feel, which I think a lot of people do. You know, it wasn't less for me fear. It wasn't I was afraid of getting some bad news. It's just I was operating off feel. And I'm a feel kind of guy in a lot of things I do. And I'm feeling good. And the energy has always been high. And I thank God for 35 years, I got up every day ready to go and didn't have those lulls or didn't have those moments where, you know, things happened where my energy was suppressed and I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I was able to overcome that and rise to the occasion. There were signs along the way and checking I didn't really even check the box. The annual physicals were, you know, something that I did. I got good marks coming out of those, you know. To some extent, you can use that and say, well, did you get overconfident, arrogant with that? I don't think I was arrogant, but I think when I got a great report and, hey, your blood looks good, your vision, your hearing are on track, your cognitive skills, you heard this the other night, but they tested very well in the higher percentiles of my peer group. My stress tests, those things all went very well. And you're like, you're in good shape. But Derek, now you're 50. This is 7 years ago. You now need to start doing colonoscopies because you're an age now, you don't have necessarily a history in your family, but you're an age now where detection is so important and you need to get in front of it. You're right. I'll take care of that.
And he kept putting it off.
Kept putting it off. The postcards would come once every 3 months or 6 months. Some of you fellas know what I'm talking about. Put those down, you know, where I get them, I stack them on my desk, you know, like, yeah, okay, I need to do it. And, you know, I think I still have the 2017 postcards in my house, you know. I just kept stacking them and stacking them and stacking them every year. Physical, doing well, look great, feel great, blood good. Have you done your colonoscopy yet? Nah, I'm going to get to it. Same story year after year after year. I think then we had COVID, and then we had 2021, and then I think I missed the physical that year because of scheduling conflicts and me getting back up and running and, you know, trying to continue to run through the tape. And so there were now physical signs that were happening, digestion, constipation occasionally, but I write that off. I'm traveling, I'm out late on the road.
And what did you do to try to self-medicate?
Supplements, you know, detox pills, things that were Band-Aids essentially to make me feel better. And again, the high energy, the temporary relief that I would provide myself when those things, I'm good. I don't have a problem. Until I retired. And I retired because I felt, I retired because it was 35 damn years of Pepsi. That was a long time. It was just time to do something else, man. I went hard. Yeah, I was in the microscope. I gave it all I had. And I had an amazing run there, amazing. I'm going to talk about that in my book that's coming out, Survive in Advance. That'll be out. That'll be for another day, another event that we can talk about that a little bit deeper. But in that book, this all will be part of that. So I decided I want to do something else in my life. You know, I read this book called Strength to Strength from Arthur Brooks, all to set up this whole thing around moving and evolving to the next chapter in your life and being comfortable with that and being comfortable not being on the stage anymore, moving to something more fulfilling, more gratifying, happier, and extending your life, doing things that happen.
So you were retired when you
so I retired at the end of 2022. And then early in 2023, these signs became more noticeable now because I'm now I'm not grinding anymore. Now I'm playing a lot of golf. I'm, sleeping better and more, and, I'm home more now. I'm watching, doing things that I enjoy doing. And the signs became more noticeable, the constipation, the digestion. And then I started seeing blood on the stool. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the first time I saw that, it was probably like early March after I retired, like 2 months ago. And I chalked that up to things that I do. Did I have watermelon the other day or something?
Was it red wine?
Yeah, I drink a lot of Cab, and I'm going, maybe I had a lot of Silver Oak last night. So maybe that was the reason, right? And it'd go away in a day or two. And I'd go, okay, I'm going back to my tea times and my events and travel. And then it happened again within a week or two time frame. And so then I'm like, okay, like this is not normal. It can't be normal. And so what do? You start Googling, you start trying to figure out, and it's hemorrhoids, or it's some again, blip on the radar. It's some temporary thing. But I knew better now, or I felt better, or I had another sign coming from God on, hey man, I'm not letting you off the hook this time. Go set up a damn colonoscopy, please. So I set one up, and trying to set those up wasn't even easy. I'm like Googling around and
Because he doesn't have a primary
don't have primary
health
health
care
care.
person.
I feel embarrassed when people would ask me, when I show up they would ask me who my primary physician was, and I would always use my guy that did my physical. Dr. Stone, that's my guy. I see him once a year, primary physician, check the box, Dr. Stone. I still use him. I still say I have a primary physician now. But Dr. Stone would be like, man, everybody keeps saying like I'm your physician. Dude, I do one thing for you once a year. And you keep putting my name down. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's the only guy I know. I wasn't really getting sick. I wasn't having a need to go, Again, I was sloppy, undisciplined. I'm going to take ownership. You have to own this, by the way. You can't, I'm not going to justify it or put it on somebody else. It was on me. I 100% owned it. And we'll talk about that. You have to own that. So I finally did it. But even going through that process wasn't easy, when you're just trying to do it yourself now and you're going through the network and what's covered, what's not covered, and So I finally get it like 3 weeks later. Like, I got it. I go do it. The prep was obviously tough and difficult, but hey, I'm going to get answers to my questions. Probably nothing, but I need to be reassured. So results come back in. My wife and I go, lays it out, and basically says you have a cancerous tumor. It's like 4 centimeters in diameter, pretty large. I'll put an X on the diagram where it is in your descending colon. You have cancer. You need to see an oncologist and you need to see a surgeon as soon as possible. And here's your paperwork. And I hope to see you a year from now. That's how cold it was. I'm not going to name the place, the location. I ain't going to throw the dude under the bus. It wasn't Dr. Stone, but no. But it was a very harsh reality. So we get in the car, and my wife, I could see, is like visibly starting to get upset. I'm sort of not. I'm shocked, but I'm not like scared. I'm not like in this state where oh my God, like I'm in a panic. I'm just sort of like, okay, like now I have a problem. Like I'm a guy that's used to deal with problems. I get problems all the time. Throughout my career, throughout my life, I've had problems. But now I have a real problem now. This ranks up there now. This is
You think.
problem that I haven't, the magnitude that I haven't had come my way before. So I'm sitting in the car and literally we're like, okay, well, where are you going to find a physician, or where are you going to find a surgeon or an oncologist?
They didn't even make recommendations.
They did, but like I went next door in this complex and they were closed, and they weren't even open. And it was like 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'm like, well, I know this is not meant for me. So I'm in this process now where I'm gathering myself. My wife is, again, I can just see like is struggling. Like this is, what does this mean? Like, and basically what I now am doing is like, okay, like, let me just like stay calm. What would I normally do? I need to get control of the situation. So there's a young lady that I called who I've been friends with for many, many years. And again, even with her, I would always push her off. She always wanted to get dinner. Hey, let's get the families together for dinner. Let's get together. Let's talk. What are you doing? Well, I'm traveling. I'm working. I'm busy. I'm here. I'm there. But I knew she had cancer 10 years ago, survivor. And my first thing that had said, let me call her. Her name is Bree. I said, let me call Bria and she'll have an answer. We called her right away on the speakerphone and she's like, oh my God. Okay. Thank you for calling me. We got this. Like, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. Exactly what to do. Within hours, I had chief medical officer, I had surgeons, I had people calling me within hours to understand my diagnosis. I had to send them my paperwork, basically.
But even still, with all of that, the surgery was put off. It was down the road. It wasn't going to be.
Well, let me get to that. If we got time. If we ain't got time, if y'all want to go eat and you come back, we can do all that. Or you want time, let me hear this out. So I talked to the surgeon. He said, from what I see, I think we can figure this out. I'm not going to give you the official answer because I haven't seen you yet. But I want you to stay calm. I want you to do what you do. I'm like, I have a golf trip coming up in a week. And he's like, go. We got this. So I had an incredible sense of faith that poured into me from my conversation with Bree, my conversation with the hospital, and obviously the surgeon. So I'm like, okay, I go back and my wife's cooking dinner. I go and say, we're going to be all right. Like, these guys have control of it. But what does that mean? You know, and there's all these questions coming my way that I can't answer. But I said, we'll get to it. So fast forward another week or so, I got in to go see the surgeon. I had to do a lot of testing, and we finally got to a point where, okay, I think we can get this out through surgery. There's a little spot on your liver that we need to go look at. I need you to go have an MRI on that. So I'm running back and forth getting MRIs and CT scans with contrast.
How did you feel? What was your energy level like at this point?
I was still fine. You know, I was now in focus mode. Like I went
But you didn't feel sick at all.
No, I did not feel, you know, I mean, and for me, I have a lot of tolerance. I mean, my threshold is pretty good.
Which is not always good.
Which can lead you down a false sense of, you know, security on that. So I always felt like, I mean, like I was playing 36 holes of golf. I was traveling. I was doing what I was doing. So there wasn't really a deterioration from that, departure from that. But there's a recognition, though, that things are not okay. And at some point, I won't be able to go do these things unless I get this treated and taken care of. So I stopped everything to go do that.
He had cancer, you guys, in his system.
He said I was carrying it for a year and a half at least. He said so I was immediately like, okay, let's get the surgery done like next week. Well, first of all, like there's a lot of surgery we have set up. We don't just, you're getting moved up, but you're not getting moved up that fast, brother. You know, like we're going to get you in, but
tell him how many this doctor said he does.
Oh, he's done hundreds of them. Like he's done hundreds of them. He's doing, 10 to 12 of them a week. I mean, like it's like getting line. So we get the surgery set up. I think they're telling me sometime in July. It's now early May. I'm going, God, I got to wait another 8-9 weeks. His perspective was things aren't going to change dramatically. That's when he said, look, you've been carrying this for a year and a half at least. So another 6 weeks is not going to dramatically change your condition or the treatment of what we go do.
Were the symptoms still happening? Were you still showing blood?
No. They hadn't come around in a while, right? The digestive stuff was still, I think, there, but the blood wasn't there. So the net of it was, and thank God, like an opening happened. They called me and immediately it's like, we can get you in on May 31st. Do you want to come in? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm coming. I'm in. This is a priority. I'm dropping everything I'm doing to get this. So I had the surgery. It was almost a 4-hour surgery. Now they're done through robotics. He explained the whole process. They go in robotic surgery. I mean, if you look at my stomach, I'm not taking my shirt off here, but you don't even really see signs that they had a very massive procedure in my colon area. So they took out 12 inches of my colon. Your colon is 6 foot long, by the way, in case you don't know that. They said we're going to take out enough we're going to take enough on both sides. So they ended up taking out 12 inches of the colon. They got obviously the colon, the cancer out. They tested, I think, 12 to 15 lymph nodes after the surgery and all that, all came back clear. And then I obviously went in recovery mode. I was out of the hospital the next day. I stayed there basically about a day. And then I was able to kind of walk out my own, getting very ginger because my core was so sore. But the key was to get me back on my feet, get me walking, get the circulation going, get the energy going, make sure my tubes are working right, and make sure I felt right? So there was like 3 steps I had to, for my recovery, that I had to see right away. And so that's what I was focused on. And then about 3 or 4 weeks after that, I'm playing golf again. I'm traveling, I'm playing golf. I'm feeling great. I've got a series of tests that I'm now doing with my oncologist. So every quarter, I go back in, I check all my blood levels, do scans. I've been doing that now for the past year. I just had my colonoscopy 2 weeks ago. There were polyps in there, so they found 3 more polyps. They were very tiny. They weren't cancerous. They got them out. And that's all about this sort of, you talk about prevention, early detection, treatment. Now we're in proactive mode. So when they see them little polyps, they get them out. I'm doing colonoscopy every year, probably for the rest of my life. I didn't want to have it be that way, but I put myself in that position because of my lack of discipline and my sloppiness, right? So now I've got to do all this extra care, which I'm going to do because I care about my life. I care about the work I still have in front of me and what I want to do, not only just for myself and my family, but also the community and for others. So I'm more disciplined I've ever been. Mm-hmm. But it's also allowed me to clear, my mind has been clear, because I think this thing works. I looked at this, you have a lot of time to digest when you're sitting there about to go in surgery, coming out of surgery. When you're going to bed at night, you have cancer, like, what are you going to do with yourself when all this is done? I'm going to get through it. I was never worried about getting through it. There was too many things happening in my life that I was seeing the vision of, like, he's not going to cut that off. He's not teasing me with all this stuff and then cut it off.
Yeah.
So I got to get to all that, but there's a contract I need to have with him on, you need to take care of your health, dude. I'm going to let you get to all these things, but you absolutely, first and foremost, take care of yourself. Show responsibility.
What have you changed in your life, your lifestyle?
I think there's a lot. And I want to go to this framework that I use now that really is about mind, body, and soul, because I think they all work together. And so you're having a really clear mind and having clear vision, being able to be intellectually stimulated and challenged, being creative, being able to make your mind, doing things that make you feel good. Like it's important, right? So I'm doing more things that stimulate, intellectual growth, creative growth, fun, things that are fun for me, things I like doing. Let's go to the, sort of the soul part, spiritual, the faith, that's grown even stronger. You needed it going into it. It's gotten even stronger now. My belief there was never doubted, but it's at a much higher level now than ever was before. My beliefs, my values, my love for God and others, like is at the highest it's ever been. Mm-hmm. And now you come to the body, which I probably tended to think I was checking a box, but now I'm even more committed to that. I'm more committed to self-care. I'm more committed to nutrition. I'm more committed to exercise than I before. And then now when all three of those work together, when I wake up with purpose every day on, okay, what are we doing today to stimulate the mind and have fun and relax and get your mind in the right place? What are we doing today to make sure your body is right? That's not just nutrients and exercise. It's also preventative care and what preventative care things are coming up this week or next week that I got to be ready for. And then obviously my spiritual, the praying, the meditation, the purpose-led agenda that I try to lead, all that works together now and puts you in a very powerful position. So it takes those 3 R's and it enhances them, my ability to make them even better and greater. So that's all is a connected platform for me. The vision is wider, the purpose is wider, and I'm just in go mode now. But being vulnerable and make sure you can tell people, you got to own it. You got to own this. Can't push it aside to others and blame others.
Do you have a primary care doctor now?
I do now.
Do you see him regularly?
Maria Rodriguez, absolutely.
That's a woman.
She's in Windermere.
Amen to that.
She's on my app. I can call her anytime. We have a schedule of things I have to do from immunization, upkeep, and we got a whole schedule. So literally every quarter, I'm going through that process.
Because you're in your 50s now.
57.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you got to, so how do you feel about those vaccinations?
I'm taking every damn thing I can take, man.
Okay.
I want to keep it going because here's my why. My why, I use the ABC. I try to simplify everything. Everything is a simplification for me, right? I do things in threes. ABC in this case. 1, achievement. I love achieving. I want to achieve at the highest levels I can for myself. This is not a comparison to anybody else's life. Your life is built for your life. My life's built for my life. I have goals, ambitions. I want to be the best version of myself. So achievement always, if for me to achieve, I got to be right. All right. So put my body, my mind, and my soul in the right place. 2, I want to break generational curses. There's too many facts that go on about, we heard, Dr. A talk earlier about, the lifespans and things like that. We're in a position now to break those curses. We're in a position to live into our 80s, into our 90s. We're in a position to create additional wealth generation from family to family to family, better education platforms, better things are going on. And so you got to be right to do that. So I want to break the generational curses. I not only want my family tight as they go forward, but I want the people I grew up with, I want the communities I grew up in, live in also to be tight. So there's this whole notion of helping people break the generational curses. So that's the B. And the C is create a better society, man. Like, look, if we do all these things right, and we do the best we can, no matter what you heard on this stage on Thursday night, no matter what happens there, I don't really care. I care, but I'm not letting that get in the way of what I can do to help create a better society. And so if I'm achieving and I'm laying a path to break curses along with my brothers and sisters that are out here, and I'm creating a better society, the gift will keep on giving no matter who is at the top of the chain or not on the top of the chain. If all of us carries that responsibility and takes that on, we all can make a significant difference. We can't keep relying on a person or a figurehead or somebody to solve our problems for ourselves. We need to own the problem solving ourselves, and together we can move a lot of mountains doing that.
So with all that being said, does anyone have a couple of quick questions for Brother Lewis?
I got a quick question to make sure I understand your story right. So you said you were getting your blood work done every year, right? It was coming back normal, you said, correct?
The blood work itself is going right, but what's being detected inside, like my colon and prostate and all that blood work would not show. These are sort of hidden. Cancer is a hidden thing, and so polyps that are developing from benign tumors and malignant tumors is not something a physical is going to tell you. You have to go in and get scoped under there to check it out.
And you didn't do that part?
I didn't do that part, and I was told to do that part. Every year, 50, 51, 52, 53.
He got the postcards lined up now.
I got the postcards. I had
them.
Dr. Stone telling me to do it, and I kept saying, I got you, bro. And he would look at me every year and just go, Derek, you're in your 50s now. This becomes a real serious issue for people at your age or whatever. It's become more serious for people that are less than 50. Matter of fact, a third of the cases now are starting to show up in the 40s or less.
They're saying black men need to have it done at 45.
Yeah. You're essentially playing Russian roulette in some regard by not doing it. To make it, descriptive and, make it try to come to life a little bit more serious for people, use that descriptor, Russian roulette. I played Russian roulette for 6 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have to have chemo or?
I did not. Fortunately, the tumor was contained in the descending colon area. They did all the lymph node testing and CT scans and IV contrast, and so they were checking, and we continue to check to make sure it doesn't spread. And the oncologist I have now basically is like, if I do all the things I'm doing, I have to take like baby aspirin, folic acid, calcium. I do things like that to, if in the event something were to happen, it really slows down the growth. So he's basically saying, Derek, I'm going to move you to 97, 98%. That's probably the best I can do. I can't guarantee you 100%, but we move you to 98 and you do all the stuff you do, and we do the stuff we do, you're probably going to be living a good life. And this is probably behind you based on what you're doing now, but let's just make sure. And so I'm into the let's make sure camp now versus the I hope I'm okay camp.
Yes, sir.
One thing, what about alkaline water? Do you consider the type of water you drink? And did you say you got all the vaccinations?
I have upkeep on the vaccinations like tetanus and the things that I normally got throughout my life. I have to get, because you cycle out of those, obviously, like 10 years or whatever the time frames are for some of these shots. So it's upkeep of those historical shots that I took over time. And keeping up with those is fine. And in terms of water, I'm sorry.
I think the shots that he's talking about are your shingles shot, your flu shot, your COVID
shot. Yeah.
Okay. No? Well, what shots?
Measles.
That's what I just meant. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I did. I've taken to date, I've taken all the COVID vaccines. Absolutely.
Okay. And alkaline water?
I don't consume it consistently, but I have. I drink, obviously I drink a lot more water. I'm drinking my, 8 to 10 cups a day. I drink Gatorade water. If that makes any difference. It has electrolytes in it.
Gatorade?
Gatorade is nice water now. Nice bottle, vessel. Yeah, it's really good.
Drink some water with it. We'll take one more question over here.
I know you said that you felt that there was not any chance that you weren't going to be all right. My question to you is, did you ever feel that what you went through was going to take away from you as a man?
No, it's a great question. I don't feel at all. I look at this was a lesson. This was a lesson from God to me. This was a lesson. This wasn't a dodge the bullet moment where I could easily have gone, man, I got through that. I'm going to go back to all the old habits again. I'm going to procrastinate, get sloppy, get undisciplined, don't get a primary physician, and just look at it as, lucky, caught a break, move on. This was a lesson. So my sort of feel and guidance and through prayer and meditation, this was a lesson that I needed to learn on preserving myself to do all the things that I'm required to do, that I'm asked to do, that I want to do, that I have to help make sure myself is in order. You cannot be out there and be a hypocrite. You cannot out there be talking about achievement at the highest level, the 3 R's and all this stuff, and then you are not walking the talk on one of the most important aspects of your life is your health. I've given you the health. Take care of your damn health. you know?
Were you also referring to intimacy?
Well, intimacy and everything, because, you know, I just, my primary care is Dr. Calvin Gibson, and he told me, I'm 47, and said that I need to do the colonoscopy. And even though I'm on Fire Talk, and even though I know all of these things about health and I've been taking care of myself, I still had to, like, felt funny when he was talking about this colonoscopy. So he looked at me in my face and he said, Cedric, does anyone in your family have it? And I was like, no. He said, okay, we're gonna do color guard for you, and we'll work you from there. If that comes back all right, we can skip the colonoscopy. But it still brought like something from me to feel like this is gonna take away from me as a man. So yes, intimacy is definitely a part.
See, as a woman, I know how to pull those kind of questions out. Now,
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
Because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. That's stopping men from getting prostate exams, all of that stuff. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't, please. I can't say it any. We have to do it. It's invasive. We're being filmed, so I can't really. There's something I usually insert.
Turn the camera off for a second. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna get to it.
I need to come do Fire Talk.
I think it's a fantastic question. I would honestly say that no, it did not affect me. I'm like I said, about the recovery, about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm back to normal. Like it really kicked in because I'm looking again at a bigger picture in all this, right? And I think there's short-term things that sometimes we get so caught up in the moment that are short-term that prevent us from going, well, yeah, I don't necessarily want that news now because I got this thing going on, that thing going on. But it's all short, in my mind, and being critical to some extent, it's short-sighted. And if you think about the bigger horizon and the bigger vision, the bigger purpose, you know, with kids and you got to set the right example, man. Like you have to own this. You have to own this. This is a chance for us to break curses, break cycles, set the next generation up. So if you're not willing to lead it, who else do you want to do it for? You want somebody else to do it for you? Step up. Step up. I know it's easy said done, but I went through the process. I went through the pain, the anxiety, the thought that I might be dying, right? I had to think about it. I didn't ignore that. I didn't go for 1 minute. I didn't say, oh, there's no chance I'm dying. There's no chance they're going to have the 6-month conversation with me or the 12-month conversation. I did worry about that. I had some anxieties about somebody having that conversation with me, but I didn't make that the primary thought. I put that well back on the back burner. So I respect the fact this is serious enough that that can happen. But at the same token, I didn't make that my primary driver and motivator. I knew I could get through all this because I knew I had a vision I'd be here today to talk about it so that young brothers can say, go get that colonoscopy. Be 100% sure because I want to turn, the feel is important, the facts are more important. The feel is important, facts are more important. So when you have the feel and you have facts that both line up, that's transparent, shit, you're golden. And that's the goal. You want to feel like, I feel good, the facts substantiate that, I can move on. You know, versus I feel good, but I really don't really know what the facts are. I don't want to know what the facts are. You know, maybe if I ignore the facts and they're bad, they'll go away and come back good one day. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So take this opportunity to reinforce you feel good, the facts are good. And that eliminates the fear in my mind if you're in control of that. Once you become reactive and you have to go do a colonoscopy every year, I have to do CT scans every quarter, I have to do blood work every quarter. I don't have to do it, by the way. I can ignore it again, and then I get the news, you got 6 months now because you ignored it. You know, I don't ever want that conversation. Whatever happens, I can accept that reality, but it won't be because I'm not doing my part now. That's what I'm in. I'm in control of my part. I'm not in control of what happens after that, but I'm in control of what I do.
Thank you. Y'all clap it up for Derek Lewis. Yes. Dr. Adewale is gonna come up now. Derek.
Yo.
We glad to have you, man.
I'm glad to be here, sis.
We glad to have you.
Let's keep collaborating, all right?
Yes. We will do that.
Thanks for having me here.
So I'm gonna step down and tell you all, thank y'all. Thank you for letting me do this. Gigi, thank you. Dr. A, come on back up here and you just close us out. Maybe not in prayer or anything like that. You can. Uh-oh, she got a collection box. I'm stepping aside. Here you go. Oh, you got.
Wow, Derek, thank you for that story. And you're one of the lucky ones because yours is a stage 1, early enough. 2, early enough because it's still within the colon. What happens is blood tests can show something, but by the time the blood test shows something, you're at a later stage. It's too late. That's why we do not ever want to get to that stage. The fear of that colonoscopy, you have the best sleep of your life. You won't remember nothing. I get a colonoscopy done every 4 years. I choose to do that. Sometimes insurance will say we're not paying for it. I pay out of pocket for it because it's my life and it's my health. That is why you have to do it. Cologuard, there's a disclaimer that is not 100%. So Cologuard is a pill that you swallow and takes picture as it goes through your bowel, but it can miss stuff. It comes in the box, yeah. Yeah, it's a screening, yeah. And the stool sample, and they analyze DNA in your stool sample, but it's not 100%. What is certain is going in there with a camera and looking through and say you are clean. Right now, the fastest growing group with colon cancer is young Black men over 35 years of age. We're trying to find out why. So the idea that the recommendation says that colonoscopy after age 50, it's not one size fits all. If you have a family history, it has to be a priority. I started doing mine at 40. I don't have a family history. But I've encountered men younger than myself when I started doing mine with stage 3, stage 4 colon cancer that are not even 40 years old. Look at Chadwick Boseman. How old was he when he died? He was just like 42, 43. Exactly. And when he was diagnosed, it was stage 4. That's why his life expectancy was so short. So this is real, y'all. And the idea that you worry about intimacy as it relates to prostate cancer, the surgery that it entails might affect your performance. But there are ways around there. And do not let that deter you from getting the what I call proactive care. Not preventive care, it's more not proactive care. Our sisters, our women are more proactive. They use the healthcare resources effectively because they are proactive. We tend to be reactive. You don't want to get to that level. You don't want to go through what Derek has to go through now. CAT scan, the radiation and all that stuff almost every year, if you can avoid that. So like they always say, word to the brother, right? You got to listen and just get it done. So now, I just want to say thank you very much for being here. This meant a lot to me. This was a vision that's supposed to be a one-day event. And I started brainstorming with Gigi. You know, Gigi. She said, we could do something big. And I was like, are you out of your mind? She said, you know, we can do an event every Saturday for the month of June. And I was like, how? The logistics? But we made it happen. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you. On behalf of Platinum Men's Health, I want to say thank you to our partners, Florida Blue. Tony is still here? Okay. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Raise Your Glass Foundation. Raise Your Glass. Thank you. Team Health, thank you. Advent Health Research. As a matter of fact, if you're a young man and you want to be involved in an exercise study, Advent Health Research Institute is actually looking for people that are willing to participate to do exercise 3 times a week with a personal trainer for free, 3 times a week. And they can even pay you for it. And they're looking how to see the effect of exercise on your biophysical, biomedical profile. So you get free blood work done as a result of this as well too, for free. Personal trainer, free, 3 times a week, and they pay you for it. So if you know someone that's out there that you think might benefit from that, they have flyers outside that have some more information as it relates to that. MS Fitness in Winter Park. If you're thinking about men, as you get older, the kind of exercise you do is different. Our bones start getting tighter, we get stiffer when you get up in the morning. We have what we call functional mobility exercise. That's their expertise. They teach you how to work out with ease without injury. So check them out. They have flyers out there. Ebony Nutrition, healthy cooking. They're trying to address the food desert we have in our community. How to eat healthy, sustainable cooking, and things that you can add into your regimen to extend your lifespan and to avoid diseases. So check out Ebony. And of course, Lift Orlando that provide this area for us to be able to have this event. I want to say thank you to Monica Mays for your phenomenal hosting. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And thank you for what you've done for us to help us spread the word in the community. And of course, Andrew the farmer. The fire talk was phenomenal. I really do enjoy it. And of course, Derek Lewis. So next year when we do this, yes, sir.
Dr. A, please, I beg your indulgence. I just want to thank you so much, all of you, for this incredible event. And a remark for the good of the order, I'm probably the most senior person in the room. If I lived to this October, I would make 79.
Yes.
And I only arrived today because of 2 black people. And these 2 black people, because of my personal commitment to supporting black businesses and institutions, these 2 black people had a tent one day. One of them was a Care Plus representative, and the other was dedicated senior health care. And I signed up just because I wanted to support them. Little did I know, because dedicated health care, you have to go every month. And I resented it. Okay, look, you know, they just want to get billings and so forth. But then at one point, there was an issue that was noticed because I went there every month. And then I was sent to a urologist, and then I went through a whole series of tests. And you know, it was determined that I had a prostate issue, and I really didn't want to go through the regimen of treatment that they recommended, because they said, well, okay, well, you lose your sex drive, you'll have stuff,
continence,
and all of these things. And I said, well, I don't know if I really want to live that long, you know. but I remember, you know, that my grandmother said, if you get too old to cut the mustard, you can always lick the lid.
Mic drop.
So your point is?
What is really this, is that, you know, having a dedicated physician, having someone that you see every month, someone that you see periodically, can discover things that you can address, and with the kind of courage that Derek, you know, exhibited, it can change and it can extend and prolong your life. And I just want to say to you that my being alive today is very important to me. I wear a Black History dress because I'm also the founder of Essence. And you know, 56 years ago, I had an idea for a magazine for black women. And if some of you are available next weekend, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary.
So in a correction, my dues, 88.
So maybe after
your male in the room.
No, that would be Mr. Steve.
84. All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. Next year when we have this, so going by Gigi, we are not doing 5 events in the month of June ever again. It's just too much. I grew some hair over the past 5 weeks. But, but next year, we'll be having a one-day event, Fully Alive Men's Health Summit. There'll be a one-day event, and all the things we did for the entire 5 weeks will be done on stage. Even the Fire Talk TV, we'll figure out the logistic, will be done live on stage. The cooking demonstration, live on stage. The fitness, live on stage. So we'll have one day that we all get together to celebrate men's health. So thank you very much for your support. And thank you for coming. And someone say you can pray and don't pray, but I'd like to close with a prayer, if you don't mind. Heavenly Father, we just want to say thank you for this opportunity for us to fellowship as a family, as a village. And we thank you for your grace and mercy that continue to sustain us, to allow us to do the things that we do. We thank you that we're able to put our health as a priority. You gave us this health for us to be steward of it. So moving forward this day, give us the clarity of thoughts to be able to take our health seriously as it's intended to be. Give us the direction to find the right doctors that we can trust, that we can call our family. Let us use our village effectively to help us walk this journey. Bless our family, oh Lord God. Bless our mothers, our sisters that continue to support men to do the things that we do. We thank you for your grace on our family. As we leave this place today, oh Lord God, we pray for your mercy and travel mercy to get to our destination safely. In your name we pray. Until next year, thank you.
Amen.